Welcome to the Simple Switch podcast, where you'll join me, Rachel, the founder of Simple Switch, to talk about conscious consumerism and positive impact purchasing. Spending our money in a way that helps our planet and the people on it can be complicated and frustrating, and we're passionate about bringing ease to your journey. Join us as we demystify big ideas about conscious consumerism and hear from amazing business owners using their work for positive change. Thanks for being here, and enjoy the show. Hey listeners, welcome back to the Simple Switch podcast. Today on the podcast, I have Amy Chaddick. She runs an amazing local company called The Dream Stream. They have a lot in common, values aligned with Simple Switch. They actually sell a lot of our similar partners, but my goal today is a little bit different than usual. I wanted to give you guys some examples of amazing ways that you can support positive impact purchasing, not through Simple Switch. We want to make sure that you guys are able to do your convenient online shopping with us, but also that you know that there are great ways in your own community to get involved with this kind of thing. So thank you so much for being here with us, Amy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So very first, simple question. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and how DreamStream got started and what it is. I didn't say too much about that.
Yeah. So DreamStream is a mobile shop in a renovated Airstream trailer. So it's a 1975 Airstream that carries ethically sourced and fair trade items. It just got done in September. So this is my first full year with the actual trailer.
Nice. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I got to meet Amy because recently in my hometown there is a big festival where all of these vendors come, Boulder Creek Fest. And I was so drawn to the Airstream just because it's so beautiful and just very well curated, and then got so excited when I went in and realized that we obviously have so much in common.
It's all fair trade.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about fair trade. Why are you passionate about that? Why do you think it's important?
So I have been in the fair trade world actually since I was in college. And so I studied art history and religious studies. And what I was noticing was that I really liked ancient art a lot. And so it's a lot of traditional craft techniques and craft forms that I was seeing in the fair trade world. So one of my favorite things about fair trade is that it preserves traditional and historical artistic traditions and just helping preserve traditional cultures because I'm just so interested in that because I feel like you can learn so much from it. And so through my studies in college, I started volunteering with an organization called 10,000 Villages. So that was kind of how I entered in the whole fair trade, global goods, ethically sourced world. And I'm originally from Virginia. So I worked at the 10,000 Villages in Virginia in Richmond. And then 4 years ago, moved to Denver to work at the one in Denver.
Awesome.
But in 2017, it closed down, which was so sad. The store had been in Denver for 35 years. So
wow,
because it was really...
What was the reason for closing?
It's a lot of reasons actually. And I mean, I'm sure this kind of connects to what you're doing with online purchasing. I think that retail is just changing. The way people are consuming things is completely different. Probably in connection to the 2008, financial crisis.
Absolutely.
A lot of people just shifted the way that they think about their lives financially and then whatever they are wanting to buy. So I think online purchasing was really affecting brick and mortar sales. The area that we were in, it was called Cherry Creek North, and it's becoming more high end. So it's brands that are bringing just a different type of customer. And so we lost a lot of foot traffic, mainly because they're doing a lot of construction in the area. So we were just blocked by the construction for probably a good year. So that led to it. And I think this is a good thing, but the presence of ethically made conscious consumer global goods fair trade items is becoming more prevalent, which is great because if we can start to
Yeah,
transition, how things are made using those types of values, it's just all for the good. And
absolutely.
so I think that 10,000 Villages, they were the first ones to really put this sort of model out there. And I think people maybe they were just finding products from different outlets. So, it was just market access, I think. Yeah.
Totally. Wow. So you transitioned from that straight
Yes.
into
So
DreamStream?
I found out that the store was closing January 2017. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? I love fair trade and I couldn't give it up.
Yeah.
So I was like, I will just make my own store. Um, but
Cool.
having to go through the whole process of closing a brick and mortar store. And it was really sad because we had just moved to a new location around the corner and I set it all up
Mm.
and then I had to tear it all down. So it was really heavy um, for me. So
Wow.
the idea of having another brick and mortar store seemed financially terrifying. Um, and then, so
Yeah.
that's why I was like, oh, well, maybe I should go mobile. And actually, I kind of followed in the footsteps of a really good friend from Virginia. She and I worked at 10,000 Villages in Richmond, and she left to start an Airstream mobile shop too. Um, but she's since had
Cool.
to, just a couple months ago, had to close her little Airstream shop. But she was like my mentor. And so I reached out to her and she was like, this is great. I want you to do well. Like, this is how I did this. And she really helped me. So,
Yeah. That's so cool. Man, okay, so we sell a lot of the same things, have a lot of the same values, but our business
mhm.
models look totally different. So what does your kind of day-to-day look like? Where are you usually selling with the DreamStream? How often are you out there?
So typically on weekends, just because a lot of the like places that I sell is either craft markets or festivals or fairs.
Totally.
So they're always on the weekends. Like next weekend, I have 3 different markets.
Wow.
So that's a little nuts.
Yeah.
Um, but it's really great because I'm so excited that the Airstream's finally done. Um, for 2018, I was selling, like I was at different events, but I just had a tent, and so
Mm,
during that time frame, the Airstream was being renovated. So I'm just so excited that I can actually get out there with the trailer because that's
yeah.
kind of what my brand is all about, the Dreamstream. But um, it's connected to the Airstream, but it's also connected to the ideals and values that I have of fulfilling like me being more self-sufficient. That's like a dream I have. And then also helping artisans achieve their dreams of a better life too.
Yeah, amazing. So just this isn't one that I told you I was going to ask, but where can people find you? I mean, if listeners are like, man, that would be so fun to go and find this shop, where should they hunt you down?
So definitely on Instagram.
Okay,
So handle is Dreamstream Shop,
great.
and still in the process of putting all the events and still online store on my website.
Hmm,
So that's still in the process. I just started doing this full time,
awesome.
so there's still a lot
Woo!
on the to-do list.
That's so exciting. I definitely know the feeling. Great. I'm following you on Instagram right now. I can't believe I hadn't yet. Guys, it is
Yay!
seriously so fun. You will be so drawn to this the minute that you see it. I'm sure, just like I was. But yeah, if you're local in Colorado, go and find them. Okay, Amy, tell me, we usually ask this to our partners, and it also makes sense for you. Tell me a favorite story from the impact side of what you do. You've talked a little bit about why fair trade is important and why you like it. What have you seen it do?
Yes. So this is a huge part of my journey, I think. So, and it's kind of two parts. So, when I was working with 10,000 Villages, I was able to go on what they call a learning tour.
Mm,
So, every year, managers from different stores could apply on these trips. And so, you go and visit artisans to, meet them, see how fair trade really impacts their lives, visit their communities, their families. And in 2013, I was able to go to Indonesia
oh, cool.
and visit artisan partners there. And now it's just my special place. Like I love
Mm,
it so much. And I was actually fortunate enough to go back in February of
awesome.
this year. Um, and it's just so surreal and like magical because I went with 10,000 Villages in 2013 and then I went with Dreamstream in February.
Cool.
So to be able to like go back to a place that like touched me so much and now to like visit the same people
Yeah.
with Dreamstream Shop. It was so cool.
Absolutely.
So one group that really stuck out is called Meet Your Bali Fair Trade. And so they're in Bali, and they have about probably over 150, 200 artisans.
Wow.
But just visiting their workshop, and then just meeting. So Agung and Hani are the founders, and they have this gorgeous workshop space. It's like in the jungle. It's so beautiful. I love just meeting them, hearing their story, why they're passionate about fair trade. It's like their whole life. They're so committed to it.
Yeah, that's
So
amazing.
meeting people halfway around the world that are so committed to something that I value so much is
Mm.
just so special.
Yeah. And I mean, as you're selling those products, I don't know, I am so with you that when you get to go and be with them, it brings so much more depth and joy to what we get to do. Every time someone, I just got to, back from Guatemala visiting one of our partners that we sell, and now those people are my friends now, and so now anything that's sold through them, it's cool to know kind of the impact that it's having on them. Also, just the love and the care that they put into what they're making. That's very cool. I'm
Yeah.
super jealous about Indonesia. We have a new partner from Indonesia, and I am trying to figure out how I can get out there. Right now, we're working on the budget to make it a reality. But
Oh, you have to go. It's such a special place.
yeah, it
Love
sounds
it.
like it. And I like, one of their big goals through the business is just some education surrounding Indonesia, and it's so interesting because I know very, very little. I know more now that I'm working with them. But I also think what you were saying about fair trade playing into those, ancient artisan practices, keeping those
Mhm.
alive, just the education that we get about our world is also incredible through these partners. I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah, I love how, like, thinking about how fair trade can act as like a vehicle to educate people about, hey, this is what makes this culture so special. This is
Yeah,
like what makes it so like intriguing, but
totally.
how then it connects into like the modern world, and
Yeah,
like how a product can reflect like that feeling and that like interest of like a person or a product. Just love it.
absolutely. Oh man. So we kind of know that this relationship goes both ways, right? Like I get to see the amazing stuff happening with our artisans, but also just the change of heart or the excitement from the customers who we're working with. Do you have any favorite stories about a customer that you've had?
Yeah. So it was, I think it was, when was this? Last fall, I think it was. So I was popped up in Rhino. The Airstream was parked in Rhino, which is like a neighborhood in Denver.
Mhm.
And I had actually asked to leave the Airstream in the same spot just for like a day. Like no other vendors were around me because I was part of an event that was Friday and Saturday, and then I was like, hey, can I just leave the Airstream here on Sunday?
Nice.
So it was kind of just like random people who just were walking by came into the Airstream. It like wasn't connected to an event or anything. So
Mhm.
this woman comes in and she lives in Cambodia, and I carry a line of jewelry from 10,000 Villages, and it's called um, the group is called Rajana, and they dig up old bombs from the Cambodian War and make
Oh,
these beautiful brass pieces of jewelry.
wow.
And it's so cool because it's something that was used, this item that was used for destruction. Like it was just
Yeah.
terrible, and they're turning it into something beautiful. And so she found a pair of earrings, and then we got to talking and was like, oh, well, you're from Cambodia. Like, she's living there. I think she was originally from Australia, but she was living in Cambodia. And just like her being in the US, finding something that was made in Cambodia that like she's now living there, and just like that connection is just really cool. And then just we got talking even more. There's another group called Tonlay, and I don't actually carry any other products, but
Oh, I've heard of
she
them before.
knows the co-founder.
Oh,
And I had
cool.
just met the co-founder at the Fair Trade Federation conference in Broomfield earlier
Mhm.
that year. So it was kind of just
Cool.
neat to make all those connections.
That's a good reminder. I think that we were looking into working with them, so I will follow up. That's so
It's
fun. I love hearing that. I got to spend a month in Cambodia, and just the incredible way that they have resourced themselves after just such a traumatic
mhm.
history as of late. So I love hearing that um, story, and that I mean that's exactly what we were just talking about. That not only does fair trade get to show, give us education, but how cool is it that she was coming from a place where she already knew that, and it helped her feel more at home here as well.
Mhm.
It's very special. Love it.
Yep.
Man, I wish every listener could have the experience of walking into your store so they would like have the same visual that I do when you say that. Hopefully some people I'm looking forward to some people walking into your Airstream and saying, "Hey, I heard you on the podcast."
Yay! I know, I want that too. A lot
That'd
of
be great.
people are just really interested in the Airstream, and then when they come and then they see all the products and then they
Well,
learn
I mean,
about it,
that's
it's
what
like, oh
happened to
wow,
me.
so cool.
To give you guys
Yeah.
an idea, Boulder Creek Fest is like tents upon tents upon tents, right? So we were just wandering, looking at all these things. A lot of times I actually find great partners for Simple Switch at these kind of things. But I just love Airstreams. I think that they are so beautiful. And I have a dear friend who lives in one. And so I was like, I wonder what's in here. So yeah, I think you're right. It has its own draw, even without knowing your story or what's inside.
Yeah, it's like very
Um,
nostalgic. And so
yeah.
I just love history. So connecting that to, what I love, it's just really fun.
Yeah. Oh, so cool. Okay, what do you wish that people knew about what do you wish people knew about what you do and then about your industry as a whole, maybe about fair trade or things surrounding that?
Um, like I guess in terms of the Airstream, and it's a lot to actually maneuver that thing.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm sure.
still kind of getting used to driving it. So last night I was in a neighborhood called Park Hill for a
Mhm.
Thursday night market, and it was the first one, but it went from 4 to 9, and so I had to drive the Airstream back to where I park it, which is in an RV lot. It's up in Arvada, which is a little west of Denver. Um, but just driving that by yourself, it's a lot, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm getting used to it. It feels really cool that I can do it all by myself.
Yeah, that's
It's
amazing.
just a really good feeling. Like I can back the truck up and hitch it and then haul it and tow it. And because it's like 50 feet. So like my truck is like 25 feet and then the Airstream is 25 feet. So
Wow.
it's a lot that I have to maneuver. And like every time I do something right, it's like, yes, like every time I turn the corner without
Yeah.
like I can see the Airstream and like I make it around like the curb. It's like, oh my God, I did it.
Yeah, that's a cool accomplishment.
Yeah.
Really fun that you get to like, I mean, carry your work wherever you go. Where's the
Yeah.
farthest place where you've brought it?
Well, it'll actually be tonight because I'm driving it to Fort Collins.
Wow,
Yeah, so
cool.
that's like an hour and a half. So that'll be the farthest I've taken it. But this summer, I actually got accepted into it. There's these markets called Renegade Craft, and they host markets around the country. I think they're based in Chicago. There's one in Denver, but I got accepted into the Seattle and Portland ones. So in
Wow.
July, I'm going to drive the trailer out there.
Amazing. Very cool. Okay, well, if you guys are following Renegade, then you guys should go and see her there. That's so exciting. That's a huge step.
Yep, I need to like plan out the route and yeah, just I want to really enjoy it. Like I don't want to be constantly like worried about well, okay, just made to make sure that the Airstream's fine. I really want to try and enjoy it. So, yeah.
Definitely. Oh, that's so cool. Nice. And then anything that you wish that people knew kind of about the industry as a whole, maybe from your time at 10,000 Villages?
Yeah. So I think that because, and this is kind of what I talked about earlier, maybe why 10,000 Villages, the Denver store, closed. I think that like historically speaking, fair trade, like I think you thought about it as like, oh, your grandma's like closet full of
Mm,
gifts. It's like she bought from her church
yes.
sale. So I think that what's really cool about this sort of sustainable, ethically made movement is that it's actually more prevalent than you think. So even
Mm,
brands like I'm completely obsessed with Prana. Um, I buy
yeah,
all my clothes from them. They are even using fair trade. Um,
very cool.
like they have a fair trade workshop. So I think that when you think about the industry and then the whole world of like consumer like made goods, it kind of goes beyond just gifts. Like I think it can reach all types of product categories that you can think about. Okay, well, say I want to buy like a towel that I want to be made ethically. Like it's more available than it was, I think, 10 years ago, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. That's like a huge part of why I started Simple Switch, was because I felt like there was, to your point, a lot of kind of kitschy things available. Yeah, you know, in your grandma's closet.
Just sit on a shelf and
things
get
that
dusty.
you're, you know.
So
yeah, there's little trinkets or there's clothes, but you don't actually want to wear them. And I started seeing so many awesome social enterprises working socially and environmentally that were making really great stuff. I mean, even where I'm sitting now in my office, I have tons of stuff from, you know, just very on-trend items like home goods and clothes that are available that make this kind of awesome impact. So I love to hear you say that. And I agree. It's becoming more and more prevalent. We always talk about our big, hairy, audacious goal for Simple Switch would be to be able to have the infrastructure to reach down to companies that are too small to be doing what we're doing and help them to grow, but also to reach up to companies that are quite large but don't have this kind of, you know, value alignment, and help them move towards that. So I agree with you. I mean, it's exciting to see how much more mainstream a lot of,
and like one of our values as a company is that change doesn't have to happen overnight, but if it does, that's okay too. Because I mean, things are happening so fast now because everything, I don't know, just the digital, we're in this digital age. It's like things can change in a second, but all good things take time. Absolutely. And so I think that, you know, even one little change that you make can really affect long term. So
yeah, that feels really encouraging. Thanks for saying that.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Amy, thank you so much for being here with us. And yeah, we will put your website and your Instagram in the show notes, and everyone should go and try and spot the Dream Stream if you're from Colorado. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you like this episode, you can support us by leaving a great review, sharing with your friends, and subscribing. Thanks for caring about our planet and the people on it. We'll see you again soon.